Welcome to the Far North Coast Rugby Union podcast, brought to you by Coopers, Barker Ryan Stewart, and Mark Goff Media Sports. Thanks very much, Mark, for putting this on. I'm Graham Cook, and as usual, I'm here with the Zone Admin Officer, Wayne Mullane, who is more than happy to answer any questions, queries, or any other interests you have in rugby on the Far North Coast. Wayne would love to hear from you. How are you, Wayne?
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries, mate. Anytime.
No, I've had that today. All the dispensations were done last.
That's the age dispensations for the junior age groups?
Junior age groups, and they all went on to me today. And I said, well, I can only do them when Jeff or Will actually process them. And then I just assign that dispensation to that player. Okay. So I've done about 10 maybe today. There's a lot more to come.
So, yeah, just for people that aren't aware, in the junior age groups, if you wish to play up or play down, you require a dispensation. We had a big weekend last Saturday, I think it was.
Yeah, Sunday.
And they had two qualified people that were assessing the players to see whether they could receive the dispensation. That gets processed, passed on to Wayne, who can then allow them to play in the various
they all
clubs and age groups.
It has to be started. It starts in the system. The parent asks for the dispensation, then the club has to approve it, and then I can assign
an assessor,
our assessing coach to it.
Right.
And then they've got to contact him. So this year they sent it out. They did a few early, and then they picked a day, and they did them all on that day. Now I'm getting them now again. And Jeff said, I don't know when they're going to be done, but they're not going to be done this weekend.
Yeah, no, look, had the opportunity.
Yep.
So
but they were away.
Well, that's actually, think of the Queensland USA Olympic team. If you're not there at the qualifications, you simply don't represent USA. That's just the way it works. So, any other matters we have this week? Judicial matters this week, any?
Yes, we had one.
We had one?
One infringement.
Okay.
Penguin, Mr. McPhillips, Rod McPhillips, he had to...
suggest a player have a little rest?
Yeah, had a rest. Very straightforward one, straight to the head. Swinging arm, direct to the head.
That's unfortunate. And, of course, rugby these days very, very much against that type of thing. If there's direct contact to the head with force, with no mitigation, it's an automatic red card. The referee has no room to move. That's simply the way it works.
Yeah.
So what did the judiciary do?
3 matches.
Okay.
And 1 suspended for the year. So he's got 2 weeks off. And should he offend again this year, whatever he gets... plus that one added on.
Well, that's good. I think that's probably good for everybody. The player gets to do a bit of training to improve their technique to try and help ensure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And the offended player and team club feels that something has happened. So, probably a good result all round. So that's great. Now, we might move into around the grounds, Mark. Okay, so we might actually start with some games we had on Thursday night. We had 3 games, I think it was, Thursday night?
Yeah, 2 at Mullum and 1 at Bangalow.
So first grade game at Bangalow was between Bangalow and Lismore?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and Byronshire Rebels against Lismore. Byronshire Rebels were quite convincing winners in that game?
Yeah, they were. Lismore had an opportunity to put first points on the board. Penalty right adjacent to the post, but didn't take it. Went for a scrum. I think they went for a scrum, got pushed off, got over penalty.
Okay, for penalty the other way.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're down there on the end of the field.
Yeah. And a couple of times that their new 5'8", that JJ, whatever his name is, or he made a good gap through them. No one went with him.
Okay, got isolated. Yeah. Turnover, penalty. Yep.
So they had their opportunity. They played a lot of football down in Byron's 22 for the first part of the game. And, but every time they spread it wide, they had too much pace for them. They ran around it.
Yeah, well, but Lismore...
And Craig Wallace was back having a game. And
really?
He played... He scored a try. I think he got the 3rd try there.
Not if I was on the field.
No, it's good to see
Sorry, Craig.
Good to see the good old Irishman back on the paddock. He's a good man. I like him.
So, I think Byronshire Rebels were too strong in the end, but it sounds though Lismore would still take a lot out of that game. A bit more training, getting their patterns together, be a bit more cohesive. They'll be performing better as the weeks go on.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think 21-0 at the half-time or something like that.
Okay.
And then it blew out at the end, you know.
Yeah. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So at Mullumbimby, we had a under-18s game and a President's Cup game.
Yeah.
So
you were up there doing you unfortunately got roped into both in the end.
Here, sucker, yeah. So the under-18s game was between Mullumbimby and Lismore. That was an incredible game, actually. Very physical game by both sides. Lismore had a dominant win the weekend before. Mullumbimby was their first game of the year.
They've had a couple of trial matches.
They really stood up and defended very, very well. In the end, Lismore ran out winners 7-0. So a good tight contest. Good skill shown by both teams. Good physicality by both teams. Just Lismore were a little bit better drilled and showed that they're a pretty class team when they get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Then we moved on to the President's Cup, which was Mullumbimby and Southern Cross University, SCU, Gold Rats. 0-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
And 0-0 at halftime was actually a fair result. Both teams had half chances. Both teams had not taken those chances, had made some mistakes they'd probably regret. But it's 0-0 at halftime, and then just after halftime, University intercept up 7-0. And everybody's
nothing.
Okay.
The old days.
Plan move, mate. Plan move.
Plan move.
I asked him on the way back. Said, plan move. Then Mullumbimby started to hit their strides and ended up scoring a few very good tries, actually. Ran out quite good winners, 22-7, and we're all over them in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes. Mullumbimby sort of seemed to go from strength to strength, actually.
Yeah.
Whether it was reserves coming on, getting that game time on the field, they have some good, quick players, strong players, and once they got the front foot ball, they were actually quite dangerous. A very, very enjoyable night. Spectators were very vocal, as they tend to be at Mullumbimby.
No.
Players from all clubs involved enjoyed themselves.
Was Nicholas there? He's home.
Nick and I had quite a chat.
Oh, good.
Had quite a chat.
Yeah, he rang me the other day.
He pointed out some things I perhaps could have done differently, which is always very nice.
Yeah.
It was after he gave me a beer, so I didn't mind at all.
No.
So then we moved on to Saturday games, and there were some pretty big games again.
Yeah, there was.
Down at Ballina was a bit of a derby. Ballina versus Lennox Head in first grade.
Yeah.
And second grade.
Yeah, second grade wasn't bad.
Okay.
17-14.
Okay. To Ballina.
Ballina, yeah.
Okay, so Ballina at home in second, 17-14 over Lennox. Again, Ballina would be pretty happy with that, I would think. They'd want that win. Lennox would be happy to get a game underway.
That was their first game.
Yeah, so they're having that problem of early season rust, if you like.
So they got a competition point there for finishing within
good
the 7. Yeah,
and then in first grade?
Yeah, no, it wasn't real good there.
Yeah, I've actually watched that game. Ballina showed what they can do, if you like, a bit like Wallingbar has been over the years. They defend well, they then attack, get on the front foot, go wide, and they've got a fair bit of pace and skill there. Ended up running out winners. I think it was 48-0.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. They were actually very, very impressive, very comprehensive. Showed really good skills when they had the ball, when they could dominate. Probably the work on during the week will be their defence and discipline to make sure they don't give the opposition easy opportunities. Lennox Head, as we've mentioned, their first game of the year, so they'll just take heart from just getting out on the field. There were times where that first game of the year stuff certainly showed. The pass going to nobody, just no support. It was like, yeah, okay, put that one away. Let's get ready for next week. So other games we had at the weekend, a lot of wet weather.
Yeah, Casuarina Casino, all games off.
Great, had a great day. One of my better days.
Yeah,
yep.
no,
it was
very unlucky. I was really surprised. Got the phone call early from, I forget who it was.
Yeah, Casuarina ground closed. Like, when does that happen?
And I went, wow, what's going on here? We won't mention that.
Outrageous suggestion.
Outrageous, yes.
So we did have some other games at the weekend, though, down at Yamba, for example.
Yeah, Yamba had 2 games. They had the President's Cup against Evans River and an 18s game against Lennox Head.
Okay, so 2 games down at Yamba. Yamba, of course, on their 50th year celebrations. So that would be really nice for them to have 2 teams there playing on the day.
Yep.
How did they go in President's Cup?
Yeah, they ran out fairly convincing winners there, 29 points to 5 over Evans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Very impressive, Yamba. Well done.
Yeah. No, they're going all right. And in the under 18s, they were victorious there.
Okay, so 2 wins on the day at home.
Yeah, 17-15, very close.
Ooh.
And Yamba had one off for the match. So
very well done, boys.
Yeah. They were having trouble with the app. No one had given anyone team admin. And so I've been fixing the scores up in the background because when I got the result, in the app was 17-0.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I just recorded it as that. No one contacted me, and then all of a sudden, Stacey, good on her, she contacted me from Yamba and said, "Oh no, the score was 17-15."
That's very good of her. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so I adjusted it and waited till I got the scorers from Lennox and their team. Had to enter their team in the back door and put it all in because it was already classed as a result, so they can't.
So
go
that's first grade, second grade, President's Cup under-18s. Unfortunately, due to the weather conditions, there were no women's matches played last weekend. So hopefully we'll get them up and running again this weekend.
No, we won't.
No, we won't. Oh, no? Okay.
No women's
games this weekend?
No women's games this weekend. They've got a camp on, representative camp on down. It was compulsory, I've been told, by the players and the coaching staff. They've even got daycare for them, so they can take kids with them and whatever. So it starts on. They've got to be there on Friday night.
Right.
So and Friday and Saturday night. So they've got all day Saturday, or most of the day Saturday down at Lake Ainsworth.
Right.
With the coaches and whatever. And
well, good luck to everybody there. I hope that's very rewarding for everybody involved, and the women's team will go very well at Country Week in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, and they've decided that on the 19th of July, when the British and Irish Lions buys on,
right,
those 3 matches that they usually should be played will be played at one venue somewhere.
Right, that'll be good. And they'll be able to provide referees for that, and it won't be an issue for anybody. Yeah,
that's what I'm suggesting. The first round of the under-18s didn't go ahead.
Do that as well.
And that's on the Senior Country Championship weekend.
Yes.
And there'll be a lot of referees away at Country Championships and whatever.
Yes.
Central, Wallingbar, Ballina. Ballina haven't got a team. I'd say play it up at Wallingbar, up at the
as a central
field.
location. Yep.
And you've got Casuarina, Yamba.
Easy
Mullum,
to get to. Yep.
Just do it there. Referees will be shouldn't be a problem. Just for that's all that'll be playing on that weekend.
Okay.
So anyway, I've run it past a couple of people, and they said, yeah, that should be good. So anyway, I'll get a thing from the board to say it, and we'll do it.
We'll go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps up the round last weekend. Some chat there about the women's competition and some future games coming up and what were going to be bye rounds. We might move on to this weekend. Now, probably the big thing for everybody is juniors start this week.
Yes, they do.
Okay, that's on Friday night in the Far North Coast?
Yeah, Friday night.
Age groups ranging from?
Under 7s. Oh, I'm getting a...
Under 7s through to under 16s?
Yes, on the Friday night.
Right, so Friday night rugby on the Far North Coast at a lot of different venues, I would imagine?
Yeah, Lismore closed their ground.
Oh, no.
So I've had to swap their games. They were playing Lennox in a few grades, so I put them down to Lennox, and I'll try and do vice versa
when you can.
The draw's really hard because you do all the draw, and then you get like next Friday night. I'm looking there, and there was nearly every Lennox team was home. And
right.
And I'm going. And
that's not going to work.
They're playing all their games at Epic this year.
Oh, right. Okay.
And they've got 2 fields. Even with that, I couldn't fit them on, so I had to take 4 games off them and move it to round 7. Because round 7 was the corresponding round with those teams.
Yep, just flip them.
And their 7, they only had 2 games on that round 7.
Okay, so there'd be games this Friday night down at Yamba.
Yeah, there is.
Evans Head.
Maybe nothing at Yamba.
Okay, nothing at Yamba.
Maybe.
Okay, Ballina.
Yes, I think.
Wallingbar.
Wallingbar's got
Lismore.
a few. Lennox has got a few.
Okay.
Lismore's got some.
Casino.
Maybe not.
Okay, Casuarina.
Yeah, they have. Okay. Yeah, I think there is some at
Casino.
So
there's some junior rugby Friday night.
It's all gone out, and the first 2
ground.
rounds are up on Rugby Explorer.
Okay, so you can contact your local club. They'll be able to inform you whether they've got a home game this weekend or where their teams will be playing away, because junior rugby starts this Friday on the Far North Coast.
Yeah, 5:45 at some grounds.
Okay. And on Saturday, we're into another big round, except for the women's comp. We've got first, seconds, 18s President's Cup.
We certainly have.
Okay.
And one of the rounds has been swapped because Lismore's ground's no good, so they asked Wallingbar to swap the rounds. So this round with another, and Wallingbar agreed. So at Wallingbar, we've got Lismore and Wallingbar, all 3 grades. First, seconds, and under 18s there.
Okay, and that's at then.
Yeah, and that's all going to be covered, and live streamed, the whole 3 matches.
By Mark Goff Media Sport.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Mark Goff Media Sport.
Thank you.
So that will be all 3 matches at Wollongbar on Saturday. Will be live streamed. Fantastic news.
Yeah, and then we've got Byron Shire Rebels home to
Ballina.
That's the match of the round.
2 grades.
Yeah, first and
2
second
grades. They will be live streamed both first grade and second grade by Mark Goff Media Sports. Again, thank you, Mark. It's very good of you to have the cameraman there early enough so we can do 2 grades. That'll be fantastic. That will be one hang of a day, I would think, in both grades. Ballina winning last weekend. Byron's looked good in second grade.
Are you there?
Yeah, I happen to be there, fortunately.
You're doing ones?
Very, very happy to be there. That will be, that's
and Andrew Toomer's doing 2s up there.
Andrew Toombs, Toomsy's there. So he'll get things sorted out in second grade. Hopefully get everybody all fired up, and then away we go in first grade.
Yeah.
So should be a good day.
Will Barnes is doing first grade at Wollongbar.
Yep.
Evelyn's doing seconds at Wollongbar, but she can't stay and run touch.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
And there's still no referees club to appoint for the 18s, unfortunately, out there. You've got young Noah Fisher running touch in
Noah's
a few of them.
Touch, yes.
And then we've got Casuarina home to Lennox Head.
Okay.
In first and seconds up there.
Okay, well, I think Matt Clayton will be refereeing the first grade up there. Is Corey available to do one of the Will Palmer? Not sure who's doing the lower grades there. That will be an interesting contest to see whether Lennox can show a bit more cohesiveness this week.
No, it's Casino Bull. Casuarina's got the ball. I'm looking back here. It started with C. Casino Bull.
Let's try that again. Okay.
Casino Bull, Matt Clayton.
Okay, Casino Lennox. Okay.
Yeah, so I've got Matt Clayton doing 1s.
That will be an interesting contest, I think.
Yeah, and Will Palmer's
he's doing a President's Cup, I think.
He's out the range. He's got the trip. I'm not sure who's doing seconds out there.
Okay. So we've got a few games there. We've got Casino. We've got Bangalore for the Byron Shire Rebels.
And Pioneer
Park. The new ground?
The new ground.
The new ground at Wollongbar. So, some interesting games there. President's Cup, you mentioned, we're out at Richmond Range.
Range is taking on the Evans River Killer Whales.
Okay.
Mullumbimby are home to Yamba.
Right.
And Gold Rats are home to Kyogle.
Okay, some interesting games there. I think that might have Joe Allen refereeing that one.
I think Joe's doing the Kyogle one.
Right. Okay.
Mullumbimby Yamba is Bruce Ward.
Okay. Oh, good luck, Bruce.
And Will Palmer is trekking up north.
That's fantastic.
Out west.
So wishing all those teams and referees well for the weekend. There should be some very, very good contests, though, I think, looking at those matchups. Certainly I'm enjoying the idea of heading out to Bangalore for the Byron Ballina game. That should be one heck of a contest. Anything else we need to cover this weekend,
yes,
Big Wayne?
On Sunday.
On Sunday,
On Sunday. Our representative junior sides from under 12s through to under 18s are all playing Mid-North Coast junior sides. Set down for Grafton.
Right.
But that's our turn to host.
Yes.
So So they go Grafton, Coffs Harbour.
Yeah. That's okay.
I believe Grafton got...
Grafton's a little bit wet.
I believe it's quite wet.
So where are they being held?
The rumour is it could be at Yamba.
Okay. Yeah, that tends to be the venue they
people
go to.
are, but the Mid-North Coast referees aren't very happy. They don't want to go up there.
Yes, understandable. It's a bit further for them.
Then we might have to see who...
We might be doing a call around to see who can referee a game at Yamba on Sunday.
You might get Matt to go, maybe.
A learning opportunity perhaps for some of our junior referees. Yeah. We'll investigate that once we know if there is a change of venue.
I don't think Penguin's available this weekend. That's why he's got the Thursday night game. Pup, maybe.
Around about now.
Yeah, 7 o'clock I think it was kicking off. So.
Yep. Okay, so there's games on Sunday either at Grafton or, to be advised, at Yamba.
And they'll use both fields. They'll use Kane Douglas, the junior fielder, and they'll have to use 2 because there's 6 games. They've got 2 going at the time. So.
Okay.
Yes, and that's where I'm supposed to be tracking down to with Jeff
Good
Watt
news.
And Liam McQuilty, they're the coaching staff there. But everyone's, it's been a nightmare. Every kid's got to do a clearance from their club to
play for the zone.
To play to the zone team.
Right.
And that means that their insurance coverage from where they're registered with their club goes with them, so they don't have to pay anything. And then when the teams are selected, they have to register a different way into the championship for the season.
Right.
And then I can put the levies that they impose on them into that.
Right, so quite a process.
Oh, yeah. So every player from 12s to 18s, it generates 2 emails to me.
Right, that's good. You get a few then? Yeah. At least your inbox is full.
I've been doing clearances all day and dispensations.
Okay.
And I looked at the clock, 2 o'clock. Shit, I better go and have some lunch.
Okay, so I think we've pretty much covered things for Far North Coast Rugby last weekend, this weekend. Certainly some exciting times. Just want to give a shout out to one of our referees who refereed in the Brisbane competition last Saturday and will be there again this Saturday, Lachlan Dooley. One of our junior referees is going to Brisbane this season to get some exposure at high-level matches. From all reports, went well last week. He's got a couple of games this weekend. And then also is going to be dropping in at Casuarina and doing some RA National Under-18 girls matches on the way back from Brisbane on Saturday. So good luck, Lachlan. Yeah. Continue to enjoy it and continue to improve your refereeing. Well done, mate.
Johnny Mays, who watches that program all the time, ex-rugby league player for Manly League.
Right.
And I know for brain cancer has been given 2 or 3 weeks to live. So we give a cheer to Johnny.
Okay. Johnny May, the rugby league player, of course, well known by a lot of people. Unfortunately, he's in some very ill health with cancer. The diagnosis is not looking good. Look, our thoughts and prayers go with you and your family. Hopefully you'll hang in there for a bit longer, mate. So good luck to you, and hopefully it'll all go well. Anything else we need to cover, Wayne?
No, he's a good old rooster.
Yeah, it was a good man.
And he was a rooster.
He was tough. Okay, so thank you very much for being with us again. On behalf of Wayne and I, thank you. We'll see you again next week.
Cheers.